UFC 283 was our first pay-per-view event of 2023, and they showed out to set a pretty high bar for pay-per-view events this year. Gilbert Burns has shown a quote-unquote new display of dominance, getting a rear naked choke finish on Neil Magny. Keep in mind he hasn't gotten a submission finish since 2019 when he was still fighting at a lightweight. Imagine lightweight Gilbert Burns, it's impossible now. Brandon Moreno finally finished the Davison-Figueiredo chapter in his book by getting a TKO stoppage in the third round, securing his status as the undisputed flyweight champion. And Glover Teixeira left his gloves in the octagon after a hard-fought main event, losing by decision to Contender Series alumni Jamal Hill. Hill is now the light heavyweight champion, the very first champion coming from the Dana White Contender Series, and has brought youth and excitement back to a struggling division. But that is not the topic for today's video. Hidden deep in the prelims were two fighters of very similar paths. We're talking about Ismael Bonfim and his brother Gabriel Bonfim. They made their debut together, coming off of their Dana White Contender Series victories, and they both got finishes to pump the crowd up and to skyrocket their stock in the UFC. I know it's hard to say because they just fought once in the UFC, but seeing their performances, I truly think that these guys can crack top 15 if they can fight maybe 2 more times by the end of 2023. And the reason I say this is because if the UFC is smart enough, they can pair these two guys together every single fight card that they're on and just market the fact that they are brothers, that they are explosive, and that they can produce these highlight reel finishes. Another reason why I'm so high on these two brothers is that they have fought some top level competition before even getting into the UFC. Especially Ismael, he's fought Renato Moicano and former flyweight champion at ONE FC, Adriano Moraes. So although he has lost from those fights, it's cool to see that these two fighters become a UFC fighter and a champion at ONE FC. So it just shows that he hasn't stopped the grind, he hasn't stopped learning to become a better fighter. And as for Gabriel, he seems to be the more comfortable fighter. He looks like every time he's in there, he looks calm, collected. He seems to be a little bit more rounded, but of course, I mean, it's hard to tell. We only got one fight that we can base him off of from the UFC, so only time will tell. Of course, he doesn't deserve top 15 opponents at this moment, but people like Phil Rowe, Ian Gary has really great striking. Josh Quinlan, he is another Contender Series alumni and has the same amount of explosiveness that I really like to see. And for Ismael, I mean, he kind of jumped the rankings when he fought against Terrence McKinney. I would say Terrence was top 25, top 20 in the lightweight division, depending how you see it. But he beat the brakes off him. He cracked his jaw. So I think he just deserves a bigger name. Go bigger, go home. And I think that name is Michael Johnson. That'd be a perfect UFC pay-per-view opener for the main card or the feature fight for the preliminary card. You just want to grab these people that can match the energy of the Bonfim bros. And I think that those people I mentioned are the perfect fit. So to wrap it all up, I'm just really excited to see what these guys can do this year. I'm sure the UFC will market them right, do them right, and just put on some really good fights. Let me know who you guys think they should go up against, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.